for stopping by. Please do upload a new video. In this video, we are going to be learning how to make by. Please do well to hit on the subscribe button and please turn on the notification bell so you'll be forced to get notified whenever I upload a new video. In today's video, we are learning how to make a tube bustier, just like what you see right here, and also how to attach your black net to your bustier, how to form a sleeve using your black net. So these are all what we are going to be in this video. So let me just take a little time to appreciate all my subscribers, everyone that has been coming around to engage on all of my videos. Thank you very much. Just know that I love you guys. So here I have my head stay. Is it head stay they do call it? I also have my wording here. I'm going to be using this to pad my bustier well. So down to my bust point, my under bust, my waistline, and of course the full length of this top. Ahead and connect all those points. All right, if you also want to see other videos on how to make this that I use marker, I also have them here on my YouTube channel, but this is very detailed, so please pay attention to it. I came down to 3 inches for my neck depth and I went in by 3 inches for my neck width. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. Although we are not going to be making use of this neckline, but for the sake of this tutorial, let's just go ahead and connect it so that others too can understand what we are doing here for the sake of those beginners. All right, so from the center of my pattern paper, I'm also going to come in by half of my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5, and I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. So we are doing that because our shoulder is not straight. All right, so I'll connect it now to the neck width just like this. Once you're done connecting this, you're going to place your tape here and come down to your armhole depth, which is also known as the chest, becomes your chest line, or go up from the bust point by 2 inches. I've gone ahead to connect it into a straight line, and I'm going to connect it from here down to my round bust divided by 4, and I'm going to use my curved rule here to connect my armhole. Next, we are going to be taking out that point. I'll come in by half of my nipple to nipple measurement, which is also known as the bust span. I came in by 4 inches because mine is 8 inches and that divided by 2 is 4. And I marked it on the bust line, on the bust line, waistline, and of course on the full length of my top, which is like the hemline. And then I'm going to use this my ruler here to connect all this very part here. So once you have done connecting this, it's now time to get our bustier. So what I'll do right now is on the waistline, or rather on my bust line, I'm going to come in by 1 inch here on the side going towards the center of my pattern paper, and on the part going towards the side I'm going to mark 1.5 inch, and on the down part, like the hemline, I'll mark 1 inch on both because I am very busty. So I've just went ahead to connect them like this, and from the bust point I'll come down by 1/2 inch. You can I have here by 2. All right, so divide whatever you have and then I'll connect it from the shoulder down to the bust point. So if you know you are not very busty, you can use 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch, like 1/2 inch. All right, so go ahead and connect it this way, and you're now going to connect this point now to meet the 1/2 inch point we came down by from the bust point. So I'll be using this my curved here to connect a curve to meet that point just like this, and then I'm also going to connect this very one here. I'll connect it downwards to meet this point. point here. At this point, I don't, so please, I'm so sorry about that. Just pay attention to what I'll be saying here. After connecting the looks, all right, the next thing we are going from this point here by 1 inch, all right, I'm just taking how covered I want this bustier to be. If you don't want yours to be this covered, you can go ahead and maintain the chest line, all right. If you want yours to be very revealing, you can use the chest line. But from the upper part, I came down by 7 inches and I connected a straight line. I'm going to go out on this point here by 1 inch. I'll go out on both sides by 1 inch. I'm using 1 inch. If you are using half inch, please go out by half inch on the upper part here as well. So I'm going to now connect my curved from my bust point to meet that 1 inch point I marked on this side, and I'm also going to replace it on this other side. I'll connect from the bust point. All right, connect. I'm using the curved. I'll connect it to meet this other point here. So once you are done, you are going to have something looking like this. So if you don't want your bustier to be too covered, please you can maintain your chest line. So now that we are done with this, now I'm going to come to my bust point here, and I will mark my round, and I will mark my round on the bust divided by 4, and I'm going to replace my dart, all right, and also add my stitching allowance to it. But for now, I'm just adding all my darts, and we are going to be adding the stitching allowance later. On the waistline, I'll mark my round on my round waist divided by 4 as well. I'm also going to measure my darts and replace it here. And I'll do same thing to the hemline. I'll mark my round hip divided by 4 somewhere around here, and then I'll mark, place it here. Line. What I did on the bust line was I marked my round bust divided by 4, and then I removed 1 inch from, remember, from the upper part where I said it's going to be serving as my new chest line. I went out on both sides by 1 inch. So instead of marking 2 inches, because you will need to replace it on the bust line so that it's not going to be too small, instead of marking 2 inches, I marked 1 inch. I removed 1 inch from the upper part and I marked it on the bust line. So I went ahead to connect all those points. I'm going to extend it to the chest line. All right, so once I'm done, I'm going to add my stitching allowance of 1.5 inch and also go ahead and connect them. Please make sure you understand everything I'm saying. If you have any question, drop it down on the comment section for me. I'm done connecting this, and then I'm just going to go ahead now to cut this out. Also try and pay attention to how I'm going to cut this out. Can you see? And I'm also going to cut out this other part here, and then now cut out our bustier. Please pay attention to this part. This is what I have after I was done. So this is what you should have. This is the center front here. So I achieved this because my pattern was in a fold, all right? So this is it here. You can see how beautiful it looks. It's now time to draft out the back pattern. So let's keep this aside. For the back here, I've gone ahead to connect, like make all my vertical measurements. So for this other line, I came in by 1.5 inch and I connected a line to serve as our zipper allowance line. From the chest line, I came down to my bust point, under bust, my waistline, and of course, I also have my chest line right here. And then I also went ahead to mark my chest line and then connected my armhole. So that is just what I did here. Different between the front and the waistline. Going into a straight line. I'm going to connect it to meet the new chest line. You're going to come to the hemline and you go out on both sides by half of an inch to get that. I'll come out by half of an inch on both sides, and then I'm going to connect it now to meet this upper part here. So connect it this way From here, you connect it to meet this point, and you're also going to repeat same thing on this other side. From this part here, I'll connect it now to meet upper part, just like this. So when you are done, you have something looking like this. So now we are done. We are going to now add all our horizontal measurements. On the bust line, I marked my round bust divided by 4, and I added my stitching allowance of 1.5 inch. All right, that's on the chest line. Then I'll do same thing to the bust line, and then replace the little that I have here. All right, so you do same thing from the chest line to the bust line, and then you come to your waistline. You are going to mark your round waist divided by 4 and replace the dart you have, and also add your stitching allowance to it. You come to your hemline, your round hip divided by 4. You are going to replace this dart. Just go ahead and replace it, and also add your stitching allowance to it. Once you're done with this, go ahead and connect all those points. This is what I have after I was done connecting this. So we'll come to the zipper line here before we go ahead to cut this out. On the waistline, I came in, I went out by 1/2 inch, all right? And I'm going to be connecting this. So the reason why we're doing this is to like take away any bulginess we are supposed to have at the top of around our zipper area. So to prevent any bulginess, just go ahead and connect it this way, and also connect it downward just like this. So these areas here are going to be cut off. So right now, let's go ahead and then trace out every other part on our pattern paper here. So I'll go ahead and cut away this zipper allowance here. All right, so I'm also going to be dividing my darts. All right, I'm going to cut off the darts we have here. So just look at what I'll do. From the center, I'll just cut through just like this. I'll just divide this into two just like this. I'm going to take away the darts. All right, so go ahead and take away the darts here. All right, just like this. And you're also going to take away the darts on this other side just like this. Go ahead and cut it away like this. Can you see? And then I'm now going to join this back. I'll use my sellotape to join this back. This is because we don't want to be having like a dart on the back pattern. Just take it away. So I'm going to use my sellotape to tape it down so that we'll cut this out. We're going to be cutting 2 of this for the back. So tape it down this way. All right, just go ahead and tape it. If you don't have a sellotape, you are just going to place this on your fabric in a way that is going to be the same, and then cut it out. All right, just make sure you place them correctly and cut it out just like this. So we are going to be using this now to cut out the back. We'll cut out 2 pieces for the back with this pattern, so there will be no need to stitch our dart on the back area. That's the reason why I had to cut away the dart. So these are all the patterns we are going to be using for this tutorial. Let's go ahead and use this now to cut on fabric. I went ahead to cut this on fabric, and I gave 1/2 inch of stitching allowance. I also cut out my lining as well. I gave 1/2 inch of stitching allowance all around these areas here. This is for the center pattern, and for the sides I also did the same thing. I gave 1/2 inch of stitching allowance all around. So I'm just going to use my scissors to cut away this excess fabric here. I'll just trim it off so everything is looking equal. So this is it here. So make sure you give 1/2 inch of stitching allowance. And for the back as well, I also went ahead to give 1/2 inch of stitching allowance all round, and that's because we are going to be turning all of them with our lining. So I'll just go ahead and keep them aside and work on the center pattern. So I'll just remove all my pins and then open this up and show you guys. Now, I also went ahead to iron my head stay on the wrong side of my fabric. This fabric is kind of like white, so you might not see it very well, but I have already ironed my head stay on it. All right, so do well to iron your head stay on all your fabrics. As you can see, I have ironed mine, and this is what it looks like right now. And then for the sides, I'm also going to remove all the pins here, remove my pattern, and then open up the sides and show you guys what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. I also went ahead to iron edge stay to all the fabrics, including the back patterns. I have iron edge stay on all of them, and I also cut out lining pieces for it. And then I'll just keep all of that aside right now. I'm going to cut through this center pattern here, through from the under bust area. I'll just cut away from this under bust area right now. So we'll be using this now to cut on our bustier. All right, so cut from the under bust, and then from the side pattern, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to now, from the bust line, I'll go in by 4 inches. I'll just mark 4 inches here, and then I'll just use this to make like a curve. All right, this is very simple. You can just use it to make like a curve. If you don't want to follow all this process, you can just place this on your wording and trace it out. So I'll just cut away this part here, just cut it away just like this. So we are going to be using this now to cut on our wording. So if you don't want to follow this process, you can still follow the other method to cut out your wording. All right, so right now I'm going to bring my wording right here. This is what I'll be using to pad my bustier, and what I'm going to do right now is, for the center front, I'm going to fold this in a way that I'll cut everything on fold. So for the center front, fold it this way and place. All right, and this is the center front, don't forget, place it this way, and you can go ahead and pin it down, and then use your scissors to trace it out. I'm also going to do same thing to the sides. So once you're done cutting, you're going to have something looking this way. So I'll just remove all my patterns. This is what I have right now. This is for the two sides, and then this other one here is for the center of our bustier. All right, so these are all what we are going to be using to pad this letter. So I'll just go ahead and then bring all my fabric. We're going to first work on the center of our fabric. So this is the center part here, and then I'm going to remove the pattern and place this on it this way. All right, as you can see, I also have my ½ inch of stitching allowance all around here. You can see, so this is what you should have if you actually follow this method. So right now, since we are done with this, I will bring the sides as well, and then remove the lining, then place the other two wording on it this way. So just go ahead and place them here and here. So the wording I'm using is very light, so what I did was to cut out 4 pieces, so each of them will be 2 on each side. All right, so that it's going to be like kind of heavy on it a little. Right, so if your wording is very light, just go ahead and add and cut other wording and then add to it. I hope you understand. So I went ahead to iron them on my fabric. As you can see, I have ironed them just like this. So what you're going to do now is you're now going to place them right sides facing each other. So as you can see, this is how it's supposed to be. So you place them right sides facing each other this way, and then pin them down. So place them this way, right side facing each other. You're going to pin it down and then take it over to your sewing machine and stitch this down using ½ inch of stitching allowance. this is what it looks like after pinning this down. So we've not even stitched this down yet, and you can already see the effects on it. So this is what you should have. Now the next thing we are going to do now is to go back to the sewing machine, and we're going to be stitching those areas we pinned down with 1/2 inch. This is what it looks like after I was done stitching this. So I'm going to now turn this over to the wrong side. This is what it looks like from the wrong side. All right, so this is what you should have. Now when you are done with this, you can already see how if you can see the effects on it. You see how it's standing and it's looking very, very beautiful. This is how yours is supposed to look like by the time you are done stitching. So what we are going to do right now is it's now time to like notch those areas. So we are going to turn this back to the wrong side, all right, and those areas we stitch, we are going to notch them. All right, so you are going to notch them and then take them over to the sewing, sorry, to your iron, and then iron all your seams opened. All right, so guys, go ahead and iron all your seams open this way, and the areas where we have our bustier, make sure you don't iron it flat. You're going to be using your tailor's ham. This is what my own looks like. You're going to now place it inward just like this, and then iron your seams open. Make sure you don't iron your bustier flat. Place your tailor's ham on it this way, and then iron it this way. So everything I did for the fabric, I also did same thing for the lining piece, and I'm also going to go ahead and also iron the, so to iron the lining, I'm also going to go ahead and open all my seams. All right, so everything we did for the fabric, you're also going to do same thing to the lining piece. This is what I have after I was done, and this is how beautiful it looks. You can see I have already ironed my seams, and this is how the front, this is how it looks from the center part. You can see it's well relaxed. You see how beautiful this looks. So right now I was super amazed because everything was just like standing very beautiful. You can take a look at this bustier. If you actually did yours very well, this is what you should have. It will come out very nice and beautiful, just like mine. So tell me what you think about this in the comment section. You can see how beautiful it looks. See how beautiful this bustier looks. At this point I was so happy because you know that feeling when you are doing something and it came out very beautiful. So that was how I felt about it. So let's proceed with well, with the next part of this. So what we are going to do right now is we are now going to place our net, and before we cover this up with the lining, we are going to first place our net. So this is the net I have cut out here. So we are going to be using this for the sleeve area. So I'll show you what I did and the length I am using. So remember, while drafting out our pattern from the chest, from the shoulder line, I came down by 7 inches to connect my new line. Please take note of that. And I also did the same thing to the back pattern. So that 7 inches is what I will be using to cut this out. So if you calculate 7 plus 7 is 14 inches. So the width of this is 14 inches, and the length for this is 29 inches. So I'm going to be the rough the rough edges here